Hello friends, welcome to Crazy Peazy, the channel where we make videos on crazy and unknown facts about incredible places, personalities and amazing things. Today we are going to talk about 5 absolutely insane and crazy museums around the world that's open to general public. So sit back, relax and get ready for the crazy ride ahead. A museum is defined as a building in which objects of historical, scientific, artistic, or cultural interest are stored and exhibited. Now, none of the words used in this are particularly scary or weird, is it? In fact, when we think about museums, the picture that comes across our mind is that of a day out with family and kids, enjoying the sunshine and snacks, and hopefully become a little wiser in life from the lovely educational experience. But what if I told you there are museums out there which are quite the opposite? In fact, for some of them, you will do well to survive the trip, certainly not for the faint-hearted. So, here is a selective list of the most insane and crazy museums around the world that you could pay a visit. Crazy Peasy number 5. CANCUN Underwater Museum, Mexico. This museum has made the list due to the sheer audacity of the vision of the creator to come up with something like this, and of course that the museum itself is underwater. Situated in Cancun, Mexico, this underwater museum was created by Marine Park Director James Gonzalez Canto along with British sculptor Jason D. Taylor. In 2008, James Gonzalez realized that the natural coral reefs were being damaged by tourists, anchors and divers. In particular, the largest coral reef in Cancun was receiving the most damage because it is the most often visited by divers and snorkelers. Therefore, in order to divert attention and to provide the keen divers with an alternative diving destination, he came up with the idea of creating an artificial coral garden. By the end of 2012, the museum boasted of more than 500 sculptures, mostly made by Taylor and other Mexican sculptors. To place the statues on the ocean floor, Taylor had a special lift made for the statues, so none would be damaged during the move. A 40-ton crane was placed on a commercial ferry in order to lower the sculptures. The sculptures are created with pH-neutral marine concrete and are created above ground and cleaned before being taken underwater, so they do not have any chemicals on them that may harm the water, animals or reef. Tourists have the option to scuba dive their way down to the reef or simply enjoy the view on specially constructed glass bottom boats, in case you don't fancy getting wet. Crazy Peasy number 4. The Mummy Museum, Mexico. Looks like Mexico has quite a fancy for the weird stuff. Excuse my pronunciation here. Museo de las Momias, or the Museum of the Mummies, is situated in Guanajuato, Mexico. The museum displays a number of naturally mummified bodies buried during a cholera outbreak around the area between 1830 and 1870. During that time, a local tax was in place requiring a fee to be paid for perpetual burial. Some bodies for which the tax was not paid were disinterred, and some, apparently those in the best condition, were stored in a nearby building. The extreme cold and dry climate of the region made it an ideal condition which led to natural mummification of bodies. By 1900s, the mummies began to attract tourists, where cemetery workers started charging people a few pesos to enter the building where bones and mummies were stored. Because they were formed naturally, the mummies are more gruesome looking than your standard Egyptian mummy. With gaunt and twisted faces, often covered in the tattered rags that they were buried in, the mummies stand, lean and recline in their natural positions in which they died. Perhaps the most shocking to visitors are the pregnant mummy and the shrunken child mummies, including the world's smallest mummy, which is no bigger than a loaf of bread. Most of the bodies were buried dead, which means the person had already died at the time of burial. However, In some cases, the dying may have been buried alive by accident. One of the mummies who was buried alive was that of Ignacia Aguilar. She suffered from a strange sickness that made her heart appear to stop on several occasions. During one of these incidents, her heart appeared to stop for a few hours. Thinking she had died, her relative decided to bury her. When her body was rediscovered, it was noticed that she was facing down, biting an arm, and that there was a lot of blood in her mouth. The place was subsequently turned into a museum in 1969. Crazy Peazy number 3. AVANOS Hair Museum, Turkey. If you like things hairy, this one is for you. Regarded as one of the weirdest museums in the world, the Hair Museum of AVANOS in Cappadocia, Turkey is a must-see. The region is known for its high-quality earthenware made from the mineral-rich mud of the Red River. However, in recent years, the town has mostly been mentioned by a unique hair museum created by skilled Turkish potter CHANG. The unusual establishment, located under Galip's pottery shop, is filled with hair samples from over 16,000 women and is included in the Guinness Book of World Records. The walls, ceilings and all other visible surfaces except the floor are covered with locks of hair from different women who have visited the place and pieces of paper with addresses on them. The story goes that the local potter was bidding farewell to a dear friend of his when he asked for something to remember her by. She cut off a piece of her hair to leave as a reminder. He put it up in his shop and told the story to the visitors and tourists who passed through. Not to be undone, other women who enjoyed the story left a piece of their hair as well. Finally, by 1979, he had collected enough samples to start the museum and put his collections for display. Why do so many people leave their hair locks, you may ask? Well, besides getting fascinated with the story of Mr. Galip and his departing friend, there is secondary reason to leave some hair as well. Twice a year in June and December, 10 lucky hair locks are randomly selected off the walls. These winners then receive an all-expenses paid week-long vacation in beautiful Cappadocia, where they get to participate in the pottery workshops for free. So all that hair you have been wasting with your hairstylists could have won you a trip to Turkey. The Hair Museum doesn't have an entry charge and women do not have to donate their hair. But if they wish to do so, scissors, sellotape, pens, paper and drawing pins are provided. And for all those hopeful men out there, yes, men's hair is not allowed. So you could chop off those locks and throw them in the garbage bin. Nobody cares. Crazy Peazy number 2. The MUTTER Museum, United States. The MUTTER Museum is a medical museum located in the city area of Philadelphia in Pennsylvania, United States. The collection was donated by Dr. Thomas Mutter, on which the museum is named, currently houses over 25,000 specimens of medical abnormalities and antique medical equipments. During his career, Mutter amassed a large collection of research materials like medical oddities and anomalies. These are what first populated the museum upon its opening in 1863. Inside the creepy yet clinical Mutter Museum, skeletons of all shapes and size reside, including as well as President Grover Cleveland's jaw tumor, deformed babies in jars, and preserved organs of all kinds. Some of its famous exhibits include the Mutter American Giant, the tallest human skeleton on exhibit in North America at 7 feet 6 inches tall, the conjoint liver and plaster torso death cast of the famous Siamese twins Chang and Young Bunker. However, what gives this museum iconic status is the fact that the Mutter Museum is one of only 2 places in the world where you can see pieces of Albert Einstein's brain. Brain sections 20 microns thick and stained with crescile violet are preserved in glass slides on display in the main museum gallery. So if you want to know what a brain of a person with an IQ score of 160 looks like, you know where to head in. One news which might infuriate the Indian audience is that the museum authorities have requested the vocal cords of Lata Mangeshkar, the Indian Nightingale, to be donated to the museum post her demise. We'll have to wait and see if that happens. Crazy Peazy number 1. The Icelandic Phallological Museum, Iceland. This museum must be the manliest place on earth as it houses the world's largest displays of penises and penile parts. Thankfully, majority of these specimens are taken from whales, seals and other land mammals. Founded in 1997 by retired teacher Sigurður Jatarsson, the museum grew out of an interest that began during his childhood when he was given a cattle whip made from a bull's penis. With acquisitions ranging from 67-inch 70-kilogram blue whale penis to the 2 mm of a hamster which can only be seen with a magnifying glass. The collection also features art and crafts such as lampshades made from scrotums of bulls. Souvenir anyone? The museum uses a variety of techniques to preserve the penises, including preservation in formaldehyde, pickling, drying, stuffing and salting. The museum has become a popular tourist attraction with thousands of visitors a year who are either thrilled or disgusted depending on their preferences. The place has received international media attention, including a Canadian documentary film called The Final Member, which covers the museum's quest to obtain a human penis. The museum also contains sculptures of 15 penises based on the Iceland national handball team. As the team had won the silver medal at the 2008 Beijing Olympic Games, the penises were made from a silvered material. However, the team's goalkeeper denies that the sculptures are casts. Talk about the ultimate reward of winning a medal in the Olympics. Well, that was my list of world's most insane and weird museums that you could pay a visit to. If you have visited equally weird and unusual museums, please share your experience in the comment section. So, if you enjoyed watching this video as much as I enjoyed making it, then please leave a like and share this video to show your love and appreciation. Also, please subscribe to my channel and do not forget to click on the bell icon so that you are always notified when I come out with more crazy and interesting videos. So until next time, this is Som Chakrabarti signing off. Stay safe. See you soon.